of the alcohol. La 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all. La 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris.
I'm Russ.
And this is episode 400.
Holy shit. 400 episodes. I mean, holy, in the the virtual nerd basement. Fuck, this is crazy sauce. You know, I'm like, that's amazing to me. It's
Thanks,
amazing.
CD.
Hey, we are old. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks,
Yes,
CD.
we are. But
Appreciate that. Yeah.
he's right there with us. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, 400 episodes, man. 8.5 years. I can't believe
Man,
we've been doing this show this long.
I know. It's pretty wild. I mean, it's what's
Auntie
really...
Dawn's congratulating us on the episode 100 episodes ago. Thanks,
400,
Auntie.
Auntie Dawn. Thank you. It is really wild that we are at that much. So I mean we've been fairly consistent.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like particularly our first 6 years, we were really consistent. You know, the last 2 years, we've had some issues. You know, with like work schedules and stuff. You know, but for the most part, I mean, that's really pretty good for a podcast.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and dude, I mean, I remember that first episode, us sitting in the basement, like around the corner of a table, sharing a mic.
Yeah.
Sharing an old snowball mic. Hey, Ojipo.
Hey, Jeepo. Yeah.
Renee
Isn't that
still
crazy?
makes fun of me about that, about us being all cozy, sharing a microphone, and
We weren't right next to each other for fun. I mean, we weren't right on top of each other.
we were pretty close, but we were not right next to each other. We were at the corner of a table. I was on one side, you were on the other. We were both pretty close to the corner, but so we could make sure we got the mic. And that first episode was 2 fucking hours long, and we're like, oh, we can't make them this long. No, we got to cut this in half. And so I split it into 2 episodes. Now our average is like 2 hours because I can't get you to shut up.
Oh yeah, it's me. It's me. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is. I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna carry that fucking burden, man. That is both of us. That is you and me together. We have the gifts of gab.
Yes. We're both Irish.
Yeah. Faux show.
But me touching, ooh. But yeah, overall though, it's been a great time. I'm still enjoying doing it.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what we.
Here's the more.
Yeah. I don't have my drink poured yet. I actually got to open the bottle. I got something real special for tonight. But how was your week?
It was okay. It was a little stressful because I had to hop to and get a bunch of paperwork and shit done for my various for Sonic Temple, and because it's such a big fucking deal, that show. I mean, if you guys remember last episode, I had a phone call right as our episode started, and had to start the we had to start the show with me on the phone, and but they were like, oh, you need this insurance, you need this, and we need to make sure this is this and that and the other thing, and I'm like, fuck, and I've laid out the decent amount of money, and I haven't even paid the fees yet, but I had to pay $15 to get David on my insurance, and then I had another $90 to get this, get the Sonic Temple authorized and all this other shit, and then I got David. We need your It's not fame, dude. It's all about they call the top hat, but it's fucking true. Um, and then now like
Russ is the hat
dealing with Dave,
secretary.
right? Dealing with Dave now. David wants to go and buy a bunch of like decorative shit because he doesn't want to just be like two guys body painting. He wants us to be like a performance, and I'm like, all right, well we can do that, but I don't want to pay through the nose again, Um, it's just been a lot, and then today I got not bad news, but weirded me out, I guess, because like this swelling in my at my base of my neck a little bit. I don't know if I talked about it last week, but I had to have a ultrasound down here on my. It's like this little bit of swelling right here, and it's kind of you can barely see it. You can only see it when I kind of move a certain way, and it's. But they ultrasound it, they gave me an ultrasound, and they found, they said, okay, you've got a couple like masses in there, like a one on this side, one on the other side, and it's more than likely something to do with my lymph nodes. And now they want me to go and get a CT scan, and I'm just kind of like, great, that's one more thing to fucking worry about,
You're lucky, they could have said you have to do, 6 weeks of physical therapy and then, all that stuff before you can get your.
That was an MRI. I never did get the MRI.
I did. It resulted
so
in
I'm
surgery.
a little. I have to admit, I'm a little like stressed out, weirded out. It's just weird how certain health issues. I mean, like that's the thing about like things like cancer that are some of the worst things because you have no fucking idea.
Yeah, you really
You're gonna
don't.
be healthy as a horse. You can feel fine, feel great, whatever, and all of a sudden they give you some sort of random test and tell you, hey, guess what? We found this thing that is slowly killing you. So, yay. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have cancer. I mean, even if I do have cancer, I don't know if I have cancer. Um, I'm going to worst case scenario kind of shit here. But it definitely is one of those kind of worrisome things. So I'm going to get this, I'm going to call tomorrow, get this, we have a procedure order here, get this thing scheduled and see if I can at least have get something taken off of my mind,
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
That smells so good.
But how about this fucking cold weather today, man? Jesus
Dude, it's
Christ.
the last 2 days. The last couple days.
Yeah, the last couple of days, man, fucking freezing. Oh, that's the other thing. So bad news for you, Chris. So last week I started doing makeup at Canterbury Village for their Alice in Wonderland stroll. They've got this installation that it's all these lit up like giant teapot and flowers and all these different things for this kind of Wonderland stroll. And they've got it all set up at Canterbury Village, and at night it all lights up. It's actually really cool. And they had me doing makeup on a few of the characters. I had to do the White Rabbit and the Mad Hatter and the Queen and the King. Real minor stuff. I figured, okay, in and out. Problem is, and then there was, well, you're a performer. Can you like occasionally fill in if we give like somebody, if we're missing like the Hatter or somebody? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that. That's not a problem. I could use the extra money. Well, the guy playing the Mad Hatter fucking dropped out. So now it's looking like I am the Mad Hatter for the next 3 weekends. And then they also said to me, potentially, they might even extend it to into May. And I'm like, fuck. And I said, well, I've got one whole weekend I'm completely out because I am busy with Sonic Temple. And the drag too, like the week after that is Comic-Con, and I really want to, and I actually have to go to Comic-Con for something. My friend Chad wants me to talk to these guys about becoming like a pro DM, and like doing these dungeon master, one-offs for these people that, for people that pay for it, that kind of thing. Which means I'll have to brush up on the minutiae of the rules, but which makes me takes me out of the game, out of our Friday night games. So I'm going to see if I can get Robert to fill in as the Mad Hatter on on this coming Friday, or if not, then maybe the following one, so that I won't miss 3 months of games.
I was gonna say, so do we need to write Mara Karras out?
That's why I'm thinking we might actually have to do that, at least temporarily, just for a little while. And it sucks, man. I really enjoy playing. I love playing with us. And it was Top Hat. Top Hat, yep. Top Hat can play him. Well, it is kind of funny that they're asking me, Top Hat Russ, to play, to play the Mad Hatter. So it is. It was fun. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of, oh, hello, welcome to Wonderland. And
You got to play it crazier than that, man.
oh well, no, it's definitely. I don't want to like do it super loud. I'm right now, but I'm jumping around. I'm running around. I'm commenting on the things that people are wearing. You understood the assignment. You covered in colors. But I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I wasn't planning this. I was like, ugh. I just kind of wanted to go in, do makeup, and leave. And because Stella's also going to be performing on some of the nights, and I was even like arranging for her to get rides back with other people, so I could just go the fuck home or go to gaming or whatever. So we'll see. Robert, the guy who's organizing all of this, was out of town over the weekend, so I got to throw him a text message. You were going to say Hogwarts, weren't you? No, we're not doing Hogwarts. They do have
but he was when you went to say it, you stopped before you said Wonderland. It paused. That's why.
Oh yeah. There's been a few. You got to be careful. They do have it. Actually, pretty cool, like Harry Potter Hogwarts like weekend there that they've been doing, and they'll do like a banquet that they have, and they'll have some of my friends as performers, performing those characters. It's actually a pretty cool cool thing. I don't know. I'm so fucking swamped right now. Now work ramping up a little bit. I mean, not we're ramping up, but we're getting into production. I'm just like, yep, one more fucking thing. So we'll see. I will give you a heads up as soon as I can about.
Yeah, if they got if Mara Karras needs to go away, then that makes the tank Klimbram.
Yeah. Holy shit. It was funny when I was in high school and I was gaming with my friend Brian, his mom's boyfriend, his mom's live-in boyfriend, who eventually she married him. He was our dungeon master, and it was a very May December relationship. Like Jean was in her like 40s, and late 30s, early 40s, and Jim was in his early 20s, and it was pretty. I was like, whoa, this is cool. And anyway, at one point, Brian, his grades suffered, and he was told he couldn't play D&D until his grades improved. So Jim had to write him out of the game for like 3 months of sessions. And Brian's character we were used to mess around with the deck of many things, and he had pulled one of the cards that makes a villain that's annoyed with you into your arch fucking enemy. And a villain that we encountered that was kind of annoyed with this character, Sandor, was a pit fiend. And so at one point, the pit fiend just shows up and went, "You're coming with me," and grabs this character, Sandor the Unexpected, I think is what his name was, or something like that, and just spirited him away. He was one of the two clerics in our party, too, because I was a cleric and he was a cleric. And so all of a sudden we're like, where did he go? And that was, it was kind of a simple way of writing him out, but it was, I'll even say it was maybe a little weak, story wise. But these are the days of second edition, so. But it was kind of funny, like, well, that's one way to write your character out for a few weeks.
Speaking of second edition, so Renee and I started cleaning out the storage area in the basement to make some room and just to get rid of some stuff that we haven't touched since we moved into the house. And just set Mary on auto smite.
On auto smite,
let the game control him. But one of the things, we were going through a bunch of stuff, and I found a bunch of old like CDs and DVD or CDs for like games and stuff. I'm like, I'm never gonna install Moto Racer again. That's like
you
a Windows.
Even could.
I found old Windows 98 discs.
Oh wow!
And
it's funny how we hang on to this shit.
And it was in like an office box, so I just got rid of all that. It's actually out at the trash right now because tonight's trash night. But
you find those old DVDs of MP3s that I gave you?
They are probably in the box of CDs that I found that I haven't gotten rid of because I want to go through them. I forgot how many fucking CDs I had. I had a box. I got one box. Now I found the other box. I also found a bunch of my old cassettes that were down there, and I found all my old Star Wars figures. Speaking of collectibles,
no way, really?
My old Star Wars figures, my old Clash of the Titans figures, including the Pegasus. And I'm like, hey, look, we got Clamor.
Well, if you ever do find those DVDs with those MP3s on them, I would like to get them back for a little while.
Well, I think they're CDs. They're not. Are they DVDs or are they CDs?
I think they're DVD-ROMs.
Okay.
If they're not, if they're CDs, great. Either way, I would have to end up buying. I'm gonna get a reader, a CD-ROM reader writer, a USB one for this computer because it doesn't have, a onboard one anymore. But there's probably some music on those CDs that I don't have anymore due to various crashes and whatnot.
That's the thing. My CDs have been put away because now you can on Spotify I can stream just about everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only things I can't stream are like Garth Brooks because he doesn't have any of his stuff on streaming.
Well, I still buy CDs, and that's the thing. I still having hard
I stopped
copies
buying CDs about 5 years ago.
I occasionally do, like if it's a friend's,
See that?
album.
So that's some of the other stuff. I found my original Green Side Up CD from Stone Clover.
Nice. This is Ironwood. It's a kind of a local
along
group.
with Proper Villains Live, and I found a bunch of old Stone Clover stuff. I found some. I know I've got a bunch from Gibbon the Troubadour down there that he gave because like when I saw him after several years, he's like, "Here, take my entire collection." And he like gifted it to me, and I'm like, dude, I will pay you for these. He's like, no, you've been supporting me you supported me all through the years at Fair. He's like, you were one of my you were always coming to my shows. Here, this is a gift.
One of the nicest things anybody ever said to me was from Gary Amadon, Gibbon the Troubadour. I'd run into him at an event locally here in Ferndale in Hazel Park, section Hazel Park. And we were chatting, and I was like, man, you're well regarded and well beloved at festival. This was back when I was still on security. And I go, you should see about coming back, man. You should see about performing, because he hadn't performed in quite a while. And so he ended up, he ended up coming back to Ren Fair for a season. And I mean, like he'd been gone from MRF for like at least 10 years, probably longer. And so he came back for like, I think for a few weekends or for whatever. And then I saw him performing again at some other places. He was doing Roger's Roost, and he was like, it was like maybe 2 years after he started performing again, and we ran into each other. He goes, hey man, it's been great to see you back on stage. He goes, you know what? I have to tell you, you were one of the reasons why I even started looking into it again. And I went, what? And he's like, yeah, when we were chatting that one time about how I was missed and everything. He goes, that was one of the reasons why I decided to get into it. I was like, holy shit. I won't take full credit for it, for Gibbon going back on stage, but at least I'll take 20% because that was a really nice thing. It's a really nice thing. I mean, I was just being honest with the guy.
Is that what the import-export...
that's what the tariff.
That's the tariff is the 20% tariff on it. But anyway, so what I was getting to though was in looking through all that stuff, I've actually got a Tartanic one too. Oh, Jeep, I don't have that one, the techno album, but
a bunch of those.
But anyway, so going through some of the boxes, I found some old gaming stuff, including a bunch of my second edition stuff. Like
right on.
And I knew this one was in there, but it's the Mezzo Baranzan box set. I've got the Into the Depths boxed adventure, which is a first through 15th level boxed adventure where you're basically just in the Underdark.
Yeah, no, that was a huge. I remember that. It was a huge fucking thing, man.
Yeah, you're actually
an
working for
adventure
the
that ran you
Drow or
all the
something
way,
like that, I think.
a campaign that ran you all the way to level 15.
Yeah,
dude. That's
from first to 15. And then I found my old monster manuals in there. But one of the other things that was in there as well was my old BattleTech box set.
Wow, man, you gotta put those on a display shelf, man.
Where do I have room to display? We don't have the room to display that much stuff in this house. All my collectible stuff, there is not enough room. I would need a larger house to display all that stuff. I'd have to have the Home Alone house to be able to display that much stuff.
Fair enough.
But anyway, yeah. So other than that, though, my week was pretty much work. We had our closing party for the curling club on Saturday, so curling is done for the year. Although we do have a spiel coming up in the first week of May at the club. It's the Motor City Open. I will be playing in that. I'll be curling with a stick because I still won't be able to get in the hack yet. Legs healing up okay.
Good.
Less and less pain there, but my sciatic nerve pinch that I've got going on is still there. It still hurts like a motherfucker. But yeah, other than that, keeping my, I'm not saying anything yet, but I may have some news next week about something, or even Friday, when we do gaming, because we are playing this Friday. Mm-hmm. Which reminds me, I got to remind Alexandra because she always requests that I remind her when.
Give her a heads up.
Yep. So let's get to it. What are you drinking?
Tonight, after finding out I got to do a CT scan, I was like, I need a drink. So I went to the liquor store. I didn't want to drink exactly the same thing I had last week, although that stuff was pretty good. This is from Ace. Ace makes a pretty solid cider. We've got a couple of different brands. I think they're out of California, I believe. So let's see here. Yeah, California Cider Company. So they're out of California. They're kind of it feels like they're kind of like California's Blake's. Blake's is, Michigan. Ace seems to be California, from, their kind of version of Blake's, because they do have a couple of flavors that are real similar. Like they've got a berry cider that's very similar to Triple Jam. But they have this. They partnered with HBO to create House of the Dragon cider. This is an 8%. It's dragon fruit and pomegranate craft imperial. I gotta say, man, this stuff is pretty fucking solid. I don't even know if you can still actually get it. It might have been a little more available when House of the Dragon was still going full.
Well, I mean,
full blast,
when it was actually on, you mean? Because there's 2 more seasons of it, so.
Of House of the Dragon?
Yeah, that's the prequel.
Yeah, the prequel. They've done 2 seasons.
Yeah, and they have 2 more seasons to go.
Right. What I'm figuring is this was maybe put out while the seasons were airing at the time. Now they're out. So, but I tell you, it's nice. It's a little on the tartar side. Tart side. But it's got a nice, fruity flavor. It kind of finishes sweeter. It starts tart and then finishes a little on this, a little bit sweeter notes. It's real good. I would highly recommend it. House of the Dragon from Ace, if you can find it. Give it a shot. And it's got the Targaryen symbol on it. Mm-hmm. It's really fucking cool. It even says HBO on the side. So they definitely did. It is an official product, What about you? What are you drinking?
Well, for me, I went to the vault. I figured
went to the vault.
This is 400. I need to go. I got to go special. So I actually talked with Renee, and she gave me an idea, and I'm like, I want something special for tonight. She's like, well, why don't you do one of these? And I said, oh, you know what? That's a great idea. So I went to the vault, and I pulled this out, and it is in the proper glass. So that right there smells of honey. It is Bee Nectar's Mildegard double barrel aged episode 13.
Oh, you son of a bitch! That's the good stuff right there.
I mean, look at this bottle.
Good
it's just
stuff.
it's like a ice wine type bottle.
That's look really good, man.
It is honey wine aged in bourbon barrels, and it is double barrel aged. This is number 3. I'm not sure when. Renee could tell you when this was actually bottled, because I believe she was still there when they did this. This is one of hers. She didn't actually do the episode 13, but she did do the barreling, and she monitored the barrels.
So that one's been sitting there for a while.
Oh
then.
yeah, this one.
This is
This one's several years old. This is probably at least 7 years old. I'm gonna guess. But it is actually, I don't even see where it says what the ABV on this is. It's got the whole story there that's in really tiny letters, and unless I pull out the cheaters, I ain't gonna be able to read that. Because it's also like shiny. But anyway, it looks lovely. There is a little bit of sediment in the bottom, but I mean that's a beautiful honey color there.
Yeah, no, it's really nice looking.
It's got some great glass cling.
Are you gonna fucking taste it? Because I'm starting to get a little anxious here.
You can smell. So it's all honey on the nose. There's no bourbon whatsoever. It's all honey.
That's not uncommon, honestly.
Yeah.
I've found that to be for bourbon ones. You get it in the taste, not in the nose so much.
And you can even there's even that hint of alcohol. You can tell it's hot.
Sure.
So yeah, I'll take another little sip here. So, yeah, it's a solid mead. A lot of honey. There is some of that barrel flavor in the back. There's some vanilla that comes through, and a little bit of that oak. Not a lot of bourbon that I would call bourbon flavors, but you do get some oak and some and some vanilla from that oak. But this is fucking delicious, and it's got that warmth of love that I talk about, like that.
Yeah.
You feel that warmth all the way down your esophagus. It's
down to the cockle area.
The subcockle region.
The subcockle region.
But it's warm, it's delicious. This is a 5 out of 5. Absolutely incredible. Fan-frickin-tastic. And Renee told me I had to save her some, so when she gets home, she may be opening the door to grab the bottle. But yeah. This is not one you can get anymore. This was a limited edition at the time. So, let's see. Ojipo's got a wonderful, to celebrate 400. He has a wonderful strawberry sugar-free lemonade.
Hey, Ojipo,
and CD's got
sounds lovely.
Caramel cookie bar, which sounds delicious. 4.5 out of 5. 10% Southern Tier Brewing Company. Chocolate and caramel. This is rich and not overly sweet candy bar in a jar. Okay. It's a Twix stout. Oh, dude, I will have to look for that. I will have to see if we can get that here, because we can get some Southern Tiers, but I don't see all of them. But I will look for that one, because that sounds delicious. Blackwater. Yeah, okay, the Blackwater series. Yeah, I've had some of their stuff. That stuff can be really good. I like Southern Tier a lot. When I go to our Cleveland office, I try and hit the Southern Tier there. I haven't gone to the one in Pittsburgh yet. There's another Southern Tier there. But they do a lot of really good dessert beers. Their other stuff, you're right, it's hit or miss. I like their dessert beers. Their French toast, they did a French toast stout that was outstanding. They did a peanut butter cup stout that was outstanding. But yeah, mostly it's the dessert ones that I really like by them. So, but all right, well, we should start getting into stuff.
We should.
So, first things first, we can talk a little bit of.
Well, first thing, fuck Trump, and fuck Trump and his asinine idea of these tariffs, because this is. He is tanking our economy. It is one of the I think yesterday we had one of the worst, the worst day on the stock market since 2020.
I thought yesterday it bounced back some. It was last Thursday, Friday. It was really bad.
It had bounced back a little bit, but it still hasn't recovered all the losses.
You know, hell no! Like it was down like 30-some%.
Because people are still
something like that.
People are still saying they're wondering what the hell's going on with the negotiations and stuff, and because Trump is using these tariffs as a negotiation tactic, even though he has said, oh no, it's not going to be a negotiation tactic, and then other people have said, yeah, it is. All of the bullshit, it's just been amazing. It's amazing the level of bullshit.
Well, and just seeing the people who are the Republicans that are still doing town halls, and just the people showing up and just yelling at him, going, "What are you going to do?" And them trying to defend it. Well, we got to trust in what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. No, he doesn't.
We know it's going to be hard. It's going to be kind of hard for some people. And it's like, yeah, and you're the asshole that's still going and going golfing every fucking weekend.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Now he wants to have a military parade for his birthday. It would cost $92 million.
He had talked about that. You know who does that? Fucking dictators.
Russia, right? Russian,
North Korea,
and North Korea. They do that kind of thing. We don't do that kind of thing. We've never done that.
Nope. We don't do that here.
Yeah. He wants Abram tanks to go down regular streets. You know what happens when an Abram tank goes down a regular city street? It fucks up the city street.
It fucks up the city street, and it rattles the buildings around it.
Right. So hopefully, calmer heads will prevail. But I don't have any fucking faith in the system right now.
Just listen to him talk. He thinks he's a fucking king. And that's what he's trying to be. Now, the one thing I will say, the Supreme Court stood up to him.
Yeah.
All 9 justices basically told him that his immigration shit had to stop.
Right.
They're like, don't bring that shit here. You bring it here, you're going to lose.
I saw today that some of them had said, okay, well, some of these, you can move forward with some of these deportations, but you have to give them due process.
Right. Yep. That's what they're all saying. You have to give them due process.
You have to give them, you can't just, because there was a guy from I think from here. Was it here or was it Maryland? It might have been Maryland. That got deported by, mistakenly. And he's in like El Salvador right now in this prison, and they're like, oh, well, we really can't bring him back. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And that's the other thing. They also said that he needs to start the process of bringing people back, to give them due process. Because now he's even talking about, well, this works so good for these immigrants we're rounding up. They said they'll take some of our prisoners too, so we'll just start shipping people over there.
Fuck no. Those are still American citizens. They might be criminals. They might have done some horrible things. They're still American citizens. You don't send them out of the country
to what are basically concentration camps.
Yeah, and then on top of it too, like there was something else I was gonna say. Now I can't fucking remember. I'm so fucking angry about all of this.
And
that every time he turns around,
stay angry. That's the thing. Everyone needs to stay angry this whole time. Right. We can't normalize this. We can't let it become just, that's just that again. I'm just going on. We have to stay angry.
The thing that's real frightening, another thing that's really frightening is on April 20th, on 4/20, is 90 days into his first year, and that is the time frame that he put on his executive order saying we need to get the southern border under control, or I'm going to enact the Insurrection Act, which basically gives him it makes him the emperor in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It gives him the ability to deploy troops to the States for whatever reason he wants, essentially.
Deploy troops on American soil.
On American soil. Now, he tried it once before, but the military said, no way. But now he has removed a lot of those people and put people in position that are his lapdogs. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are like, if he does do that, if he enacts that act, it will essentially it'll go through, and he'll start sending out American troops. Now, the idea is that they would be there for, to keep the peace or to find insurrection, find basically, gang members
like
and
that.
immigration and
that's
stuff
the
like
whole
that.
thing, is that it would be to help ICE round up.
Right. But if he were to say, you know what, those people over there, those protesters, go and take care of them too. He could fucking do that. And it's frightening. It's very, very fucking scary. We had, over the weekend, one of the biggest organized, the hands-off protests around the country. There were like 1,400 demonstrations around the country that were all very well attended. In fact, the one here in Detroit was massive. Mm-hmm. I had some friends that went. In fact, Ross went, and he was actually really hungover too.
The one in Ferndale was pretty damn big.
The one in Ferndale, I swung by that for a little bit, and it was really impressive. How watching these people come together, watching everybody come together, has been really incredible. And hopefully, we will keep up this momentum, because it does seem to be eroding his support. People in the government, people like Cory Booker and some of these other people are like standing up to him.
Bernie Sanders.
Need to continue. Oh, well, Bernie Sanders has been standing up to him and saying shit about him for years.
Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Cory Booker, and some of the other Democrats are starting to step up. Even some of the Republicans.
And some of the Republicans are too.
Are stepping up and saying, no.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see as his shit gets more and more extreme and more Nazi-ish. Hopefully we'll see more and more people standing up to him.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. There's so many of them that are afraid of him.
Hey, just real quick, I see the chat going. Just to get off this topic for a second, we'll come back. But Ojipo, yes, it does get better. I had trouble with The Expanse for the first at least half a season, until you really start to get to know the characters and understand what's going on and start understanding
it's heavy.
The political aspects of the show. Yes, it is. It's a very heavy show. Until you start understanding the political aspects of it and see how things are coming together and what's going on and getting into if you're into political intrigue and things like that, there's a lot of that in the show. And then you've got these people who are just kind of caught in the middle.
Yep.
And so
it is a very heavy
you gotta
heavy show.
You gotta get into the whole idea of that there's the Earthers, the Martians, and the Belters. Those are your three main factions, and each of them has their own agendas. But anyway, back to the current events, to get off of politics for a minute. In the category of just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, they have unextincted the direwolf. The direwolf.
Yeah. Now, I'm actually okay with this. I mean,
dude, there's a reason it died off. This wasn't like overhunting or human overpopulation or something like that. This was.
I would say that hunting probably had something to do with it. It was only 10,000 years ago.
13,000 actually. They say
was
over
13,000.
Yeah, it was actually 13,000 years ago that it went extinct.
Okay.
But
no, 13,000 years.
They evolved for the Ice Age. They then evolved into what are our current wolves. That's basically what happened. The dire wolf went extinct because the modern wolf became the new standard. Is really what it is. There's no reason.
It's not so much. It's not so much they were hunted to extinct. It's like it's more like they evolved down into the modern wolf as opposed to the huge dire wolf.
Well, and the dire wolf wasn't even that huge. They said it was like 3 feet at the shoulders. So
it's not like it's not like there were.
I mean, it's the size of fucking Dresden. I mean,
well, I'd say probably a little bit bigger.
I don't know. Measure Dresden. I bet he's pretty damn close.
He's probably about 90 pounds right now. He's a good sized German Shepherd, but I've seen bigger. And I mean, I don't think he has broken 100 pounds, but he's a little thick right now. But I think the dire wolves were something like more like over 200 pounds, between 200 and 300 pounds of solid fucking crazy scary muscle.
I mean, 3 feet. Let's face it, 3 feet high at the shoulders. That's still pretty fucking tall.
That's a big dog.
Yeah. But yeah. So they've got 3 of them now.
I thought it was just the 2. It was the puppies. It was
no. There's 3.
Romulus and Remus.
There's Remus, Fenris, and Khaleesi.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
how appropriate.
No, Khaleesi's not appropriate. She's a dragon.
No, it's not. I mean,
it should be Stark or Jon Snow or something like that.
Or just name it after one of their fucking dire wolves.
Yeah.
No, I mean, what I mean is it's a little bit of a cliche.
Grey Wind, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, it shouldn't be Khaleesi. Shit, now I want to rewatch Expanse. I want to get back to it. We just haven't gotten to it. So, but yeah, so they have done that. Now, what I was reading about it, I haven't read too deep into it. When I first saw last night was when I first saw it. I saw an article on Facebook. I was just doom scrolling as I'm trying to go to sleep, and which they say you should not do. You should not just sit there and doom scroll just before you go to sleep. But
no, it's actually a really bad idea.
Anyway, I hit that and I went, no fucking way. I'm like, this has got to be a joke. And then like two frames later is the cover of Time magazine with one of them on it, and it says unextinct, and I'm like, well, fuck, wait, and then I see 3 more articles and news articles and like news things, and then I saw it on fucking MSNBC this morning, where they were talking about it.
It's not bullshit. It's not clickbait.
Yeah, it's the same company that's trying to bring back the woolly mammoth.
The woolly mammoth. Why? Now, all right, I understand some of these other animals, okay, but the mammoth, the woolly mammoth, I feel like the ice caps are fucking melting. You know, are we gonna have mammoths stomping around in fucking in Canada and over in Siberia and Northern Asia? I mean, is there some reason?
That's gonna be
mammoths are bigger. They're bigger than elephants. They're quite a bit bigger than elephants. So you want this megafauna walking around, this mega mammal? The largest land mammal is the moose.
Yeah,
a mammoth would be bigger than that.
Yeah, and the amount of vegetation that thing would have to eat to survive.
Right.
So
weird. Oh wait, no. The largest mammal of its genus is a moose. It's the moose is like the largest deer on the planet, which is still a big fucking animal. But if you see a giraffe, you'd be like, ooh, that's a pretty big animal too. And normal elephants as well.
I was saying normal elephants are pretty damn big too.
Elephants are bigger than moose.
But no, I figure that's what's going to happen is they're going to wind up in Canada. They're going to expand. The Mounties are going to start using them, and then that's what's going to defend the border when Trump decides to.
When Trump decides, we're going to have fucking.
They have to be the 51st state.
Man of war type of things. Okay, I just looked it up. A dire wolf with a shoulder height of around 38 inches, about 97 centimeters. So 38, so you're roughly, 3 feet. And a body length of 69 inches. So that's like almost 7 feet long.
It's almost 6 feet long.
Right, 6 feet.
72 inches is 72
you're right,
inches
72.
Is 6 feet.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking 60, and 60 is 5 feet. So yes, almost 6 feet long. That's probably not including the tail. That's probably like nose to butt, because I don't think they usually count the tail. Shoulder height. Okay, so we'll show it. Body length. Blah blah blah. Weight estimated to be around 60 to 70 kilograms. That's 132 to say 154 pounds. That's about a third bigger than Dresden. That's a big fucking dog. That's a big fucking wolf.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean,
that's
wolves aren't small to begin with.
No, they're not. But that's average.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who's to think, you know, they can get bigger than that, you know? Yeah, because a standard wolf, let's see, there's a graphic here. A standard gray wolf stands about, okay, so the graphic here has a husky dog at about 2.1 feet tall and 4 feet long, a gray wolf at 2.5 feet tall, 6 feet long, and a dire wolf at 3.5 feet tall and a length of about 7 feet. That might be including the tail too. I think those ones kind of the tail. Holy shit! I've seen some big wolves already. I mean, I've seen them in at the zoo, and I've seen some like
I've seen videos and stuff like that.
Videos and shit of some wolves that are like bigger, like as big as a goddamn mastiff or bigger. You know, I mean, when you think about the dog that is supposed to be the Tibetan, the thing that mouse is supposed to be.
The Tibetan temple dog or
temple dog.
But yeah, they're mastiffs.
Biggest, yeah, it's a breed of mastiff. It's just it's got like a screaming shit ton of hair. It's got a lot of hair. Makes it look even bigger. A wolf that's gonna be that size? Fuck me, man. But so it is a little scary, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, if you're gonna bring back an animal, that'd be one I'd be down with.
I love wolves, and
it would help to keep the deer
population
in check.
So while I'm in the category of you know, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But I'm also like, that's fucking cool, and I want a dire wolf now. But anyway, they've done that, and it basically, you know, we're one step closer to Jurassic Park, and there's only 6 movies that tell you why this is a bad idea.
Right. Yeah. 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 Holy shit. So, I mean, I was going to say...
Must go faster.
Yeah. Do you want a dinosaur outbreak? Because that's how we get dinosaur outbreaks.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, to kind of circle back to some of the Trump shit, you know, because people are saying that these tariffs could potentially bring manufacturing jobs that have been gone overseas over the last 40 to 50 years. Could bring them back here. What's that?
In decades.
Yeah, in decades. The problem is they're jobs that Americans don't want for the most part. I mean, most Americans, most college-educated Americans and whatnot, aren't looking to get on the assembly line and start. Somebody had said they're going to be screwing in the little screws in cell phones, so we're making cell phones instead of buying them from overseas. And people don't want those. We want the mouse clicky jobs. We don't want those kind of jobs. And then I heard somebody else go, well, what'll be more than likely is that these factories will come over here and they'll be largely automated, and what will happen will be people will be working in the factories to maintain the machines that build these things whatever. Well, that's the thing though. And then one of my friends went, well, that's getting AI involved, and I go, yep. You want an AI invasion? That's how you get an AI invasion.
Well, and the other thing with that is that doing that takes time, and it takes a lot of time.
Absolutely.
And so, can tariffs work in the long run? Yes, they can. But
the idea of a
short-term problem, that's not. We will be in a recession and possibly a depression for a long time before that happens.
Right, exactly. One of the only ways to pull an economy out of depression quickly is a war.
That's what World War II did.
Yep, it's exactly what World War II did. It pulled the American economy out of a depression we had been in for 10 years and pulled them out relatively quickly. Within 2 to 3 years, by the time the troops came back, we were no longer in a depression. Because we had put people to work making weapons, and then after we were done making weapons, they just shifted into manufacturing.
Yep,
we had fucked up, and so much of Europe was fucked up that they were ready to buy our services and goods and things that we were manufacturing at the time.
So the other thing that I saw, I think this might have been on John Oliver, where they were, it was online. It was on Facebook, but it was tariffs widespread tariffs have been tried 3 times in history before this. Every single one has led to a depression.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's absolutely stupid. Just, I mean, from one of my friends at work had said that the reason why Donald Trump got such a bug up his ass about tariffs was that something to do with he asked Don Jr., one of his sons, to basically find him a solution or help him find a solution to these problems. And he
wanted an economic advisor for his council.
Right. And Don Jr. looked up, just kind of started looking through.
It was Kushner, actually. Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner wanted looking through a bunch of basically just books, and it was the guy. He wrote a book that ended up being I'm explaining this poorly, but he wrote a book that was largely bullshit.
It was called Death by China.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
and it was.
I read the same thing.
Bullshit.
Yeah. And so basically, what he did was he didn't even read the books. He just looked at titles of books on Amazon.
Right. That's what it was.
And he saw Death by China and went, that's the guy. Cold called him and said, hey, do you want to be on the Economic Council? And the guy said, yeah. And the guy had cited in his book, he had cited how tariffs were the answer, and he quoted this one economic expert like 6 times in the book on why tariffs would work and why it's the best option, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And when the guy got on the council, this expert emails from him started circulating around Washington about how tariffs work and how it's gonna be the answer and all this stuff. The problem is that expert never existed. The guy made him
up. He made him up.
The guy's name, the expert's name, is actually just an anagram of the author's last name.
Correct. I heard that as well. He just used an anagram of his fucking name. And that guy should be strung up. Like, that's fucked up.
And now Trump is still basing all of his economic policy on something that was completely fucking made up. Because he's that big of a fucking idiot and cannot admit that he's wrong.
Yep, exactly.
He is incapable. That's the problem with having a megalomaniac, a narcissistic megalomaniac in the fucking White House. He can never admit that he makes a mistake.
20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, any of this stuff that has been outed in the last, like the Signal text message thing, this whole thing, if that stuff had happened 30 years ago, those people would have been drummed out of their jobs. They would have been fired. They would have been basically would not have been able to get a job in their field again. And now we've got these people going, oh, it's no big deal. Yeah, so he made up a bunch of shit. What? No, he lied. He lied to the president, for fuck's sake. It's just unbelievable. So I'm still like aghast.
Trump is he's running every play out of the abuser's handbook.
Yep.
He is isolating the U.S.
Yep.
That's one of the first things that an abuser will do is they will isolate their victim. 2, he is gaslighting us, or attempting to, by giving us a bunch of shit. He's making things up, saying, I'm the only one that can protect you. Yep. Everyone else is wrong.
Changing the story.
Yep.
He's removing history from any history that has anything to do with showing that that the American government might have been in the wrong, or that white people might have been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like he removed Harriet Tubman. They removed Harriet Tubman temporarily from the website for the National Park Service because it dealt with the Underground Railroad. Then it was reinstated because people were like, nope, somebody jumped the gun on that. We're not having that. It was just like anything that has to do with the accomplishments of people of color are being stricken from the fucking record because that's DEI. No, it's not. It's fucking history.
Yeah.
Well,
and I mean, I've seen. I don't want to go on for this too long. I mean,
we should probably move on. We're already been dealing with this for too long.
But I saw a guy on the street at a Republican event, basically asking people. This is from the Daily Show, asking people like, when was America great? When is it that we're trying to get back to? And people are saying different times, like, you know, like the 50s. Oh, okay. So you know, except for all the segregation and the you know, women's rights issues and things like that, right? That's but other than that, it's or people are like 1900s. Oh, so like you know, except for like so like back when women couldn't vote and there was all this rampant racism and
property
and everything. And someone said, like, you know, well, when it was founded. And he's like, okay, except for, you know, maybe the slavery part. And and they're like, and people don't have a fucking answer for that. It's like the guy that got asked, I don't even remember who it was, but one of the senators was grilling somebody about the tariffs. And he's like, why did Australia get slapped with a tariff? Based on your math, they should not. We have a free trade agreement with them, and we have a surplus, an import-export surplus with them. Why? And he's like, well, we got a free trade and all this, but they ban our beef, they ban our pork. I'm like, maybe we should stop using some of the fucking hormones and shit that all the other countries have realized are bad.
Yeah. You know what else too?
China won't buy our corn or wheat or our wheat.
Right.
I'm sorry, China won't buy our wheat because we've genetically engineered it enough where they're like, no, that's poison.
You know how many? You know, I think this might have changed, but you know what? Another country that didn't get any tariffs? Russia.
Mm.
No, that may have been changed because I mean, originally their argument was, oh, we don't really buy much from Russia. Last year we bought $3 billion worth of trade. Came from Russia to us. Or something like that. It was like $3 billion worth of trade. It's a lot of fucking money, man.
Yep.
And now that might have changed now that Trump said something like 10% of everything and blah blah blah. But yeah. So anyway, we should probably move on.
Come on, man. The penguins are revolting in
the penguins. Islands. God damn it. It's like a comedy of errors. I mean, there's so many fucking stupid fucking moments, man.
So one of the other things I saw today, to get off of this, is also along the lines of just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. There's a new dice set that's out. It's a metal dice set. Yeah, it's a metal dice set. It's a full like 7 dice.
I think I know what you're going to talk about. Yeah,
it's Arby's dice.
Yeah, Arby's. We have the beef.
We have the dice.
What the fuck, man?
Why? And I guess they sold out. They're not even available right now because they fucking sold out at $40.
This is the second time they've had it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. This is like the second time.
What? I don't need Arby's dice. I don't need a fast food chain's logo on my dice.
I don't know, man. I think people are.
I don't hate Arby's. No. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate on Arby's. Jamocha Shake is fucking amazing. But
you know what? I've never been a huge fan of Arby's. Like when I was a kid, we just didn't get Arby's very often.
I like their fish sandwich. I like their chicken sandwich. I'm not a big fan of the roast beef.
Yeah,
although I love me some horsey sauce and some potato pancakes.
See, I don't like the horsey sauce because I don't like horseradish. But and often, you know, the sandwich at a roast beef sandwich, it's just roast beef, some sort of sauce, and bread. I want a little bit more with my sandwich than that. You know, maybe it's got cheese on it. So I've just never been a big Arby's guy. But I will say, I would. I'm not going to spend $40 on it, but I'd get the dice if it was a little cheaper just for shits and giggles. I think it's fucking hilarious.
No. I don't need Arby's dice. But my thing was just why?
Why?
I remember the 5 for 5s, yeah. Ojipo wants the Long John Silver set.
Oh God, Steve.
Hey, bring back Burger Chef, man, or Jack in the Box.
Burger Chef? Yeah. You're just aging yourself now.
Give me a Jack in the Box set. There we go.
Jack in the Box I wish we had Jack in the Boxes in Michigan, man. Jack in the Box is good fucking food, man. We had that out in Arizona when I lived out there. And
The closest one I know, well, they're actually talking about bringing them back. I know that.
I'd heard something about that, yeah.
But the only one I know about in anywhere is between when you first cross into Tennessee from Kentucky, heading south down 65. One of like the first, it's like maybe the 5th exit in or something like that. There's a Jack in the Box.
Okay.
And I actually looked at the menu and went, there's not. We stopped, me and Kelly actually, when we were coming back from seeing Veronica once, stopped there to get her parents like some of the tacos because I guess they love them. And I looked at the menu and I'm like, I can't order anything on this. It looks disgusting.
One of the things about Jack in the Box, it was that I saw when I was living in Phoenix, was it had probably the most diverse menu.
Yeah.
Because it was burgers and fries and tacos and chicken. And I mean, it was all kinds of shit. It wasn't more than any of the other, fast food joints there. So, shall we move on though?
Sure. Last of Us Season 2 premieres on Sunday.
What is
Last of Us Season 2 premieres this coming Sunday.
Yes. The initial reviews have been good.
Yes.
People are saying good things. I did see one thing saying it's very emotional, it's very powerful. Doesn't quite match up to season 1,
I saw it's
tough.
It's damn near perfect, but it seems to be lacking something.
Yeah, and it's but in all honesty,
or I guess it leaves it at like in a place where you're like, really? That's how you end it?
In all honesty, dude, I mean, that's a tough fucking, act to follow. Season 1 was unfucking-believable. And so to do it again, I don't know, man. I get that's going to be a hard sell. So, but it is getting pretty good reviews. And I mean, I've played the game. I know how it's going to end. I know what happens. Now it's just a matter of
I haven't finished the first game yet.
Right. But I do have, I've got both parts, and it's a great game. What's that?
Ojibo said
Bucky's
I'm sure
dice?
Be some Bucky's dice.
Oh, that any day now.
Were you there when Rich wore the Bucky shirt? Because he actually finally went to a Bucky's and he actually bought one of the T-shirts.
No.
That was for gaming one of the times. I think it was the last one you weren't at.
Jesus. So anyway, yeah, it's sounding like it's going to be a big winner. So I'm down. I'm very excited.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we had we've also coming up. We have Andor season 2 coming up like next week as well. I think, or right around the same time.
It's the 13th.
I think they're both.
I think they're both. Let's see.
They might both be on this.
Andor season 2 release date is the 22nd. So it's the following
22nd.
week. Following week. So it'll be the following Tuesday. So I think that's like 2 weeks from today. Yeah, 2 weeks from today is Andor.
So I'm also really looking forward to that. I think that's. I am too.
So talking with Renee, I found out she really wasn't all that into Andor season 1. She didn't think it was all that great.
It was a slow build, man. I was not all that jazzed about it. The first couple of episodes. In fact, I remember watching the first few episodes and went, man, I'll come back to this in a little while. And then finished it after the whole season had dropped, I think. And I was like, okay, now I get it. That game, that show was definitely a slow build.
It was a slow build. It wasn't a big action film. There were action moments, but it was much more of that thriller type of show. It was that spy thriller, that going back to some of the old like 70s and 80s spy thriller type of shows. I think was more of what it was. It had that feel to it for me. And I really enjoyed it. It did take a little bit. At the beginning, I'm like, I don't know. And then by the end of the season, though, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I mean, the whole prison break thing and all of that, I thought that was fucking fantastic. And the fact that
it was great.
That them in there building stuff, and they're just building the same things over and over and over again, and you don't know what they're building, and it's actually the stuff for the giant
parts for the fucking
the giant space laser.
Yeah.
that doesn't work like a laser.
Death Star.
Yeah, it doesn't work like a laser. Lasers don't shoot together and then combine and go out like that. But when
it was cool for the movie, man.
It was cool for the movie, and in a movie with space magic, I'm fine with that happening. But whenever they show that, Renee's like, lasers don't work like that. I'm like,
listen, Miss Scientist here. We got a little suspension of disbelief.
Well, it's kind of like, I'm like, don't mess with the fantasy. It's the same thing that happened when my last day when I lived in Louisville, the just before I moved back, my last day of work, we all went out right after work to one of the bars down there, and we're sitting around the table, and one of my buddies had his new smartphone, and he had internet and all this, and he actually pulled up some porn, and he had some lesbian porn going, and he's like watching it, and he's showing it to me and stuff. And one of the women we worked with was a lesbian, and she walked up and she looks at it and she's like, "Huh, we don't really do that, right?" And he's like, he's like, "Don't mess with the fantasy." He goes, "I don't need to know reality. Don't mess with the fantasy."
Yeah. That's funny. So moving on though. So we have over the weekend, the Minecraft movie opened. Now I'm not a Minecraft.
I got to get back to Doom Patrol CD or Ojipo. That's one of the ones I got to get back to.
Yeah, I actually got to get back to Doom Patrol too. And this is the spent the swept to Doom Patrol right now. I really got to get back into Doom Patrol. So anyway, yeah, a Minecraft movie opened and it's doing extremely well. The initial reviews are dumb but fun. It's like, this is a stupid movie, but it's so much fun. My friend Shadow saw the movie over the weekend, and it took their daughter and said it was a fucking blast. It was so silly and fun. Like, Jason Momoa plays a dick and does it really well. Jack Black is just Jack Black, like he is, but he said the Shadow was basically like, it looked to me like they just said, they gave Jack a loose framework for his script and just said, go. And so largely improv'd it. But yeah, the initial reviews that I've been seeing are the reviews and the personal accounts from some of my friends saying that it was a lot of fun. And
I've never played Minecraft.
I've fucked around with it once or twice, but
I've been told. Actually, Renee has told me a couple of times that she thought that I would really like it, but I should never play it because she doesn't think she would ever see me.
Right? Yeah. See, that's the fear I have. My friend Sean Nicolin was always like, "Hey, I have my own server. You come on in. You can come on in." And I'm like, man, I would get lost in that game. I would there is a VR. Not exactly Minecraft, but it is like a similar. It's more like an
Minecraft,
adult,
Renee.
like a grown-up version of Minecraft, VR game on the PlayStation 5, and I've been considering getting it, just because I'm like, some of the shit that I've seen, I was like, wow, that looks really neat. And I just don't think. I think I'm a little scared because I would just get lost in the building of things and stuff.
So yeah, Wiggs.
No.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Dig.
Yeah, and
diggy hole. Diggy hole.
Diggy hole. I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole.
Oh,
diggy
so
hole.
Renee said your ADHD brain will hyper focus hard.
And that's the thing. That is one of the things I've heard about that game. Is that's one of the reasons why it does appeal to younger to people that particularly kids and to also people that have ADHD, because you can just say, I'm going to mine this specific thing. I'm going to make this other thing so I can make these other things. And the game that they've created is so fucking cool. Like, I mean, I've seen people create, using the game itself, create circuit boards and create simple computers basically, and simple circuit boards and stuff within Minecraft. And I'm like, wow, that's really crazy. Because it's a lot, because they have a lot of these things that are just on off.
So inside of, you play Minecraft and you build a computer that can then play Minecraft? that you
Probably.
that you can then mine to build a computer that can play Minecraft that can then build.
It's like Inception. All right.
Yeah.
You have Inceptioned Minecraft. All right. And it is also one of the longer running games. It's been around for over 10 years now.
Renee said
And
she's seen people actually make full on orchestral music and recreate songs.
it's just silly shit. Like I saw somebody make a massive, gigantic sphere out of dynamite, because you can create dynamite in the game. Made this massive sphere out of dynamite and then ignited it, and it destroyed the server.
It destroyed the server.
It basically the entire server was the environment that was destroyed it, and so they had to basically rebuild it, whatever, and I'm just like, that's fucking crazy sauce, because it was like the size of a moon, it was like just made out of dynamite and it exploded, and it was like, if it had been a real ball of dynamite, it probably would have blown a hole in the world, It was incredible. The game itself is pretty incredible. Now, I think the only thing that bugs me about it is the graphics. I know that that's part of the charm, is the blocky 8-bit or 16-bit graphic kind of thing, but for me, I like good graphics.
That's actually what's kept me from playing it.
Right. Like if it was a little more realistic looking, even if it was double the level of realism than that it is now, I'd be a little bit more, involved. But it's that look that makes me go, I don't know. And that's one of the things about this VR game that I see as obviously like kind of
I've seen that
has a feel for it.
Jeepo, the guy that's working on Helm's Deep, the person that's working on Helm's Deep.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And Renee said people have made hadron colliders,
yeah.
Or hadron colliders is actually that's what it is.
But yeah, I mean, Roblox,
I used to play the hell out of SimCity.
Sure, yeah, SimCity. Any of these it's grown from simulation games. Like if you play Conan Exiles, Conan Exiles is a huge like building game like that, where you just basically you can build massive structures and then war with people and stuff like that, and war, or if you just want to play in your own sandbox, you can war with the game, you can build that game though highly detailed, and that appeals to me.
That's what Warcraft was. I mean, you had to gather materials and then build your cities.
Yeah, but you didn't have the same level of control. I mean, you can really get creative making this stuff.
Right, but I'm saying that was an early on resource gathering and building thing. You had to gather so much wood and so much stone to be able to build this whatever, the citadel, to be able to create, your warlock or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always played orcs, if you couldn't tell. That's
I remember a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, John, he was the one that actually was the one,
Yes, then turned into strategy battles like Warcraft. CD actually said that while I was talking about it.
Jeepo, right. Fallout 4 is great for that too. You can build and Fallout 76, you can build your own structures and houses and buildings and outbuildings and all kinds of cool shit. You can only go so tall though. You can only go like maybe 3, depending on where you build, you can only go maybe 3 stories, which I thought that was kind of bullshit. Assassin's Creed Valhalla had a lot of like community building and stuff like that. Speaking of World of Warcraft or Warcraft in general, my friend John was the one that actually pointed out to me that it's the Horde and what's the
Alliance.
The Alliance. The Alliance are actually the bad guys. And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, yeah, if you read the lore, the Alliance are actually the bad guys. They're the ones that tried to conquer the orcs and all this other shit or whatever. And I went, oh wow, that's kind of cool, honestly.
Yes and no. I mean, the Alliance is the bad guys when it comes to like if you talk about the Taurens and the orcs and things, but the real bad guys are the undead.
Sure, that's always the case. It's
and I mean they're part of the Horde, but really, even a lot of people in the Horde don't like them.
Yeah.
But Sylvana is fucking badass. She's an undead night elf.
I mean, I there are times that I really wish I could get into the lore a little bit more and just get into the game.
The lore is one of the things that got me on it. I mean, I loved Warcraft. I played Warcraft 2. I never played Warcraft 3. And then I really did get it. I played EverQuest and refused to go over to World of Warcraft for the first couple of years. And then most people that I knew that I played with on EverQuest went over there. And there are a lot of things that are better. I mean, I even went back to EverQuest and started playing it again and realized why the things I hated about it, like the whole, when you're, especially early on, when you have to regain mana, you have to just sit on the ground and wait for your mana to recharge. And you have to have your spell book open, so you can't even see what's around you to do it. I'm like, that's just dumb. But at the time,
so, I mean,
it was a cool-ass game.
Mm-hmm.
1999 is when I started playing that.
Wow.
And actually, I found a bunch of my old EverQuest books and stuff and maps and all that, and actually just tossed all those. But one of the things that I've had out, and this is even before this weekend when I found a bunch of stuff, is I still have this fig that sits on my desk. It's Fariona Vi, one of the main characters from EverQuest, one of the biggest NPCs. She's actually the daughter of a goddess. And I've had this fig since I bought one of the collector's packs or something. So,
yeah, that's been sitting on your shelf for years.
Yeah. Yep. It sits right here on my desk. Right now, even though I've cleared off my desk, I've got certain things like the Yoda that Renee made me, Fariona Vi. I've got Batman, Joker, my Batman hacky sack that I've had for decades. But all that stuff is still sitting on my desk here, even though I've cleared off a lot of other stuff. I love my new desk setup, which I don't think you've seen it yet.
No, I don't think so.
Because you weren't here for gaming last time. But and then I've tried other games. So let's talk MMOs for a minute, because they seem to be kind of dying out. To an extent.
I think yes. I think in MMOs, there are not near as many of them as there used to be, and if you do play them, you're kind of old school. You've been playing them for a while.
So what's crazy is that EverQuest is actually still going.
Yeah.
They are still putting. They even still occasionally put new content out.
Yeah, and WoW is, of course,
still going.
And
so EverQuest has been going
strong.
for 26 years now, I think it is. WoW has been going for 22, because I think that started in 2002. Star Wars: The Old Republic has been going for 13 years now, or 12 years. I think this year will be the 13th year. No, this year will be 14.
City Heroes.
It's 13.
City Heroes was brought back, I think, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, but that's a private thing. It's not truly City of Heroes. I mean,
there's a couple different servers that you can join and play City Heroes, but it's also for free. They can't make any money on it.
Right. And then like there was Guild Wars 2. There was
still going.
Is it still going?
Mm-hmm. Guild Wars 2 is still going. Star Trek is still going, and DC Universe Online still going.
Now,
DC Universe Online and Star Trek are also free to play. They do have microtransactions, and they do have, like, you can play the base game, and you can play it, and there's a lot of content. But if you want some of the other extended content and extended power and costume options, that's when you have to buy the add-ons.
Well,
that's what they do that with Star Trek as well.
Yeah. One of the ones that I really wish was still around, that I truly loved the game. I thought the graphics were fucking amazing. The gameplay was cool, but it was a lot of PvP, which I didn't like. But I would probably get into it more now because I'm much more into the lore of that world. And stuff is the Warhammer Online.
I played it. I had an account for a little while.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that game tanked, and it is no longer available. I actually found my old Warhammer Online disc, and actually I pulled it out and went, I wish this game was still around. I would probably be playing it right now because I honestly got into it. I was playing on Chaos, and I don't even remember what it was called, but basically I was an alchemist. I would create potions and shit and chuck them at people to either do damage or I could heal.
Now, that game didn't grab me like I wanted it to, but I did have an account for a while. I did play it for a while. But I was also playing City Heroes so much, and I was playing other games, and I was like, I'm just not dedicating the time to this game that I should. But it also was it wasn't as intuitive as you'd like. It was a little more complicated and very different from some of the other stuff too. So.
And then I played Rifts for a while. That was another interesting one.
Mm-hmm. I played Champions Online.
Yep, played Champions.
Because I thought I
liked the graphics on that one because it was very,
I did like
very comic book.
Yes, yeah, it was very cool. Graphically, it was really cool. In many ways, I'd say the graphics were superior to City of Heroes.
They were thicker lines. They were they had that comic feel.
Right.
And
it was more
there were even
more like a
more
three-dimensional
options.
animated cartoon.
Yeah. And there were even more options for your costumes and stuff. Like I actually recreated my old character Alley Cat.
Yeah. City Heroes was actually much lauded as having one of the coolest character.
Dude, I was
generation.
Hours. I know you did because you had all your dragons and you had all your
demons,
demons and stuff and yeah. And I remember just sitting there going, yeah, well, look at this one and look at this one. I'd come over and you're like, I'm like, okay, and this one has this power set and this one has this power set and this one, like, what level are they? 3.
Yeah. It was more like 10 because I had it was called Altitis. You had so many alternative characters because that was the other thing. You had like 8 servers and you could have up towards like 100 characters on a server. So I had friends like Christian was really bad. Christian Claver was really bad. He would just get on the generator and just start making characters and just because it was for the longest time was lauded as having the biggest number of options when it came to costumes, and it's even bigger now. Like they've been consistently adding more and more and more. Like when the game closed, it was incredible the amount of options, and then even more options have been added since these servers have brought the game back, and Champions Online had a kind of a. I don't think any game has rivaled the amount of options you had for City Heroes. Champions had a lot, and it had some really cool ones, but and they had unlockable ones too. Like you'd play through the game, and I got this set of gloves that I can now I've unlocked these gloves, or these boots, or this cape, or whatever. There's some really really fun stuff, but they just. The gameplay just wasn't there as much. It didn't grab you.
It didn't grab me. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the actual tabletop game, where
Well, the cool thing too that Champions they had a nemesis system as well. So you'd create your own hero, but then you'd create their own arch villain too.
Yes, that
would periodically show up in various different missions and would plague you and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, the tabletop game, Champions, the hero system was very, very cool, very diverse. But if you didn't know how to play it, it was slow as fuck.
Dude, even when you did know how to play it, it was slow as fuck.
Right.
It's like you'd play for 3 hours and in a fight and like, all right, the cops show up. Dude, it's only been like 13 seconds.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, one game session.
Well, they were outside in the parking lot.
Right, yeah. One game session is like a half an hour of RP, 4 hours of combat for one combat, and then another half an hour of RP. And then I gotta go, guys.
Yeah, I gotta go, yeah.
And so, yeah, And if you have a table of people that are all familiar, very familiar with the game, and can run through it, you might be able to cut that down a bit. That 4 hours can become 2.5, but
and if you
there's
don't
no
have
way.
somebody that cheats, like we had one guy that he had a character named Ninja who had a multi power that his character was on a legal pad, and he'd be like, "I do this," and we're like, how can you do that? Oh, it's right here on page 8 of my multi power that I can do that. It was like he would just switch what power sets he wanted.
There were a lot of ways, and that's the thing with that system. There were a lot of ways to really to tweak it, and there was so much up for debate and so many different ways. It was a very versatile system, and it still is. You can still get hero system books and stuff, but because that was the thing with the hero system, you could create any setting. You could create any superhero's powers by the way that game was set up. You want to create Iron Man? Okay, you can make a super suit. You want a character like Captain America? He's got an obvious accessible focus that wraps his multi-power in. And if he's got a major disadvantage because you take that away from him, a big part of his power set is gone. Same thing with Thor. I mean, different things like that. It was very, very versatile.
Yeah,
but
I created a villain once based on. So, did you ever finish the original Diablo game?
Yes, the original one. Yes.
Yes. So at the end, you find the gem, and you grab it and you jam it into your forehead.
Yeah.
I created that guy as a villain. That character as a villain. He was a demon that had this gem in his forehead, and it was an obvious, inaccessible focus. So it was obvious that it was a focus, but it wasn't something you could just grab in the middle of a fight.
Right. Similar to Thor's hammer.
But you could take it away if you knocked him out. The thing is I added another disadvantage on there of that he was dependent on that gem, and that if you took it out, he took 3d6 mortal damage.
Right, he died.
And so it became a quandary for the heroes. If they knocked him out, do we take that to take his power away, but then that kills him?
Right. No, that's not an uncommon thing. I mean, you look at characters like Metallo from the DC comics. If his powers, his body is powered by kryptonite. If you take the kryptonite away, he's got a limited amount of time before he will straight up die. You can put you can put uranium or some other kind of radioactive source in there, but it definitely doesn't have the same power level. But yeah, it's rip that out of his. You're potentially killing the character. So yeah. I think, Chris, when it comes to MMOs, there are just people don't have the time to dedicate to them as much as they used to.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
I also think they may be running their course.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think they'll always be around on some level, but I don't think we're going to see them on the same. I don't think we're ever going to see another World of Warcraft. Another game that dominates the industry. We're gonna continue to see games that are like Grand Theft Auto Online, where you play in a game and in a setting, on a server, but it doesn't have the same level of customization, or at the very least, it's set up differently. Like the because Grand Theft Auto Online is technically an MMO, but it's not the same as World of Warcraft. Although Grand Theft Auto, that game's been around for like 10, 11 years now. It's pretty impressive. It's about damn time that we got that Grand Theft Auto 6, which comes out this summer, is going to come out and is going to dominate the market.
I've never played any of those. I've never played a GTA game.
They've never
appealed to me.
I got into them strictly originally because of how popular they were. I was like, wow, these games are really popular. I'm going to give them a try. And I admit that they are fun and they are entertaining. I got started with Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which was 25 years ago now. something like that, 25, something like that. And it was a really solid game. It was really fun. Takes place in the mid 80s in Vice City, which is essentially Miami. And the soundtrack was incredible. The radio, you're playing the radio, you got all these great music from that era. And then you got these hilarious DJs that are just going off about different things. It's really fucking funny. There's like 10 different radio stations to choose from, all different kinds of stuff. You got your NPR station, you got a classic rock station, you got like a new wave station, you got Spanish music, you got hip hop and R&B at the time. It was really, really good. And on top of it, you're playing a bad guy that's fighting against other bad guys, like worse guys. It's bad guys versus worse guys. And that's the way it has always been. It's bad guys, basically coming up against even worse dudes. And Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was easily one of the most successful video games of all time. It was in the top 10 for like a decade of video games. It was incredible. It was at the top 10. I remember going to a website regularly on the internet for gaming news, and it would always show like the top 10 video games, and it was regularly the top 10. And San Andreas took place in what was essentially LA for this world. And again, you played, it took place in the early 90s, and so there's a lot of nostalgia factor there too. It took place in the early 90s, and you're a gang member, a returning gang member. It was really cool. I've got it on my fucking cell phone. You can get it through Netflix and play it on your cell phone. That's fucking crazy to me. And it works. It's really, it's a little adaptable. They had to adapt it a little bit for the control, but it fucking works. It was also extremely, it had a lot of controversy wrapped to it because of the adult nature of the game, but also because somebody snuck in like a sex mini game into the game that you could, if you did certain things and you had it on like the PlayStation and you had a certain like edition of the game, you could find this sex game that they had snuck in there. They had to recall a bunch of them because somebody had found it and pissed off a bunch of like angry mothers. After that, you had Grand Theft Auto 4, which was the one that takes place in Liberty City, which is New York, and it takes place in like the early 2000s, and this was like in 2010 or something like that. And you're a soldier of fortune coming out of moving here from the Ukraine. And again, fantastic game. You're driving around New York City and Manhattan and doing missions and this, and then they had the expansions, and then finally Grand Theft Auto 5, which takes place again.
You're driving around Manhattan, which means you're going.
No, you're not.
That's how Manhattan is, dude. Trust me. I've driven around Manhattan. I haven't driven, but I've been driven around Manhattan. You ain't going anywhere fast.
You're not going fast. No, I agree. It's true. Because I've driven in Manhattan before too, and it's a goddamn nightmare. But yeah, in this game, and then Grand Theft Auto 5, they go back to San Andreas, and it's again in and each game gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And they're saying like Grand Theft Auto 6, which goes back to Vice City, is absolutely massive. It's going to be essentially Miami and the huge surrounding environs that goes into the Everglades and into large areas of Florida and taking place in like basically half of Florida. And Grand Theft, 5 took place in essentially Los Angeles, but then also the surrounding environments of Los Angeles. And Grand Theft Auto 5, you also played 3 different characters at different times. So, which was also really, really cool. They are fun, but they're also very irreverent, and there's very wincing times. Like, particularly Grand Theft Auto 5, you'd see like the names of products and things that are definitely like a play on words, like brown donuts, or brown hole donuts and stuff like that.
Well, that's like Cyberpunk does that kind of shit too.
Yeah, but this way worse. Like this is a sexual reference for sure. I mean, brown hole donuts is basically just chocolate brown hole donuts. It's basically an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really fun, and I'm actually looking forward to Grand Theft Auto 6. But because of games like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption 2, we get these online versions that are, I think, are very much kind of taking over the place that MMOs kind of started. We have a similar kind of thing with online versions, the online Call of Duty and stuff like that. People
Well,
can go
and yeah,
online.
and that was one of the things CD brought up was that he said that he asked, isn't there a shooter that's still out there?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, there's a bunch of them. You've got Overwatch, which is a team combat game. A lot of these are battle royale games. You've got
Yeah.
Call of Duty. They've got a bunch of different ones. Rainbow Six, my buddy plays that all the time. You got PUBG
Yep.
that's still out there. You've got the Division
Yep.
is still out there. Those are
You've also
all
got games like
online shooters. They're PvP online shooters.
yeah,
Battlefield,
yeah,
Star
or
Wars Battlefield,
you got games like
or
Battlefield,
Battlefront. Sorry.
Battlefront, but you got games like now the Marvel Rivals game, which is free to play, and it is killing it. Like people are loving this game because you can play all different versions of the Marvel characters from different multiversal versions, and they keep
Ojibo
bringing out
wants
more and
Oregon
more
Trail
characters.
back.
Yeah, I saw that. But you got all of these like multiversal characters, and now they're bringing out more and more characters. Like they just introduced the FF, and then you get like Overwatch too. Like it's a similar kind of thing. You can get online and play so many different online games now. At the time,
Team Fortress
MMOs
2.
were like
Renee just brought up Team
yeah.
Fortress 2.
At the time, MMOs were
Oh,
one of the few ways you could play online with your friends.
and
In that fashion.
what you call it? What the fuck is it? The one with the floss, where you could dance over your opponents.
Oh, all of those games. Almost all those games have that kind of
No,
thing.
it's the one that all the kids were playing. Why am I blanking on the fucking name now? It was huge for a little while. Fuck, you could build ramps and
Yeah, no, I know what I'm blanking on it too because of what I think I know. It's like no, it's not Team Fortress. Like every fucking kid plays it.
yeah, every fucking kid played it. Yeah, for like
Guys,
for
what's
like
the game? Every kid is playing that game. Like
Uh,
teenager, like
no, not
no, it's not
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Overwatch is Blizzard. It was the one that everyone was up in arms about too, because Fortnite.
Fortnite.
That's it. Yes,
Fortnite.
thank you,
Yeah.
Auntie.
Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, Fortnite. People are like, "Do you play Fortnite?" When I say I'm a
Yeah,
gamer, one of the first things
play
they,
Fortnite?
"Oh, do you play Fortnite?"
No,
No, I don't play Fortnite.
no.
Do you play
I
Call of
have
Duty? No, I don't play Call of Duty.
I have never played Fortnite. I have no interest in playing Fortnite. I've tried
No.
Call of Duty. I don't like Call of Duty's because I've heard so many good things about Call of Duty, and I know so many people that play it. I actually bought
Right.
one of the Call of Duty games, and I played it. I went to play it on, I forget, it was either my Xbox or my PlayStation. I think it was my Xbox, and I didn't like the controls. I didn't like the mechanics behind the game. So,
Yeah, fuck. My leg's cramping up. Ow.
and Ojibo said Battlefield 3 and 4 were the best shooting games ever. So,
I actually have a couple Battlefield games on my computers. They were free downloads.
I have
And,
Battlefield.
not on my computer, actually on my PlayStation. They were free downloads.
I
And
had
I have
Star
played a
Wars
little bit of
Battlefield.
Battlefield 1.
I had Battlefield
Yeah.
Star Wars on my
I had that
PS4
too.
because I had the Star
I've-
Wars I had the Star Wars PlayStation 4, and it actually came the Darth Vader one, and it actually came with Battlefield Star Wars, and I played it and I sucked.
Right. It's hard. It's fucking hard, man. I played. I do have Battlefield 1 and another Battlefield game. They were free downloads.
Yeah,
I have them
bought
in
like
my
the World War
library.
One
Yeah,
Battlefield one.
the World War One.
Battlefield.
That's Battlefield 1.
Yeah,
And that was cool because I think you showed me the game because what was cool was it was the combat, the various combat like scenarios were based on real
yeah.
things that happened, the real history and like letters from soldiers that they had described what happened and stuff like that, and real historical accounts. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. I have to check that out. And it was one of the free downloads because PlayStation Network or the PlayStation, your subscription allows you 3 free games a month, depending on, and they're at their discretion.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, this month was pretty cool. I downloaded the new RoboCop video game, which
Dead or
didn't get
alive, you're coming with me.
It didn't get fantastic reviews, but people were like, "Yeah, it was okay," and I'd be willing for free. Shit, I'll get it. And then I also downloaded Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I'm like curious to try that because you play. I guess you play. I think you can play either most of the time you play the kids trying to escape from Leatherface, and then I think there's a version 2 you can also play as Leatherface, where you got to hunt down these co-eds that are. I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but
just wait for him to hide behind the chainsaws in the barn rather than get in the running car to get away.
I figured I'd give it for free. I'd give it a shot. I've got a bunch of games on my account through PlayStation that they're like, here you go for free.
Yep. All right. Well, we're at an hour and 40, so we should move on.
We should probably move on.
I've got a couple other things. Love, Death, and Robots season 4 comes out May 15th.
Yep, I never finished 3.
I didn't finish 2. I didn't get to 2. I need to do that.
Really?
I'm like, you know what? I realized that. So the Peloton, we had a Peloton bike, and as part of my rehab, I'm supposed to be doing 15 minutes of biking a day, no more than 15. I'm like, and I've been watching Arrow. So I'm watching like 15 minutes of an episode, then 15 minutes of an episode, and then I finish the episode. So it's it takes me 3 days to watch an episode. But it's the only thing ever. Well, the only thing they have entertainment on there now, and they used to have like Disney Plus and things like that. But now that it's only Netflix, I have a feeling that their deal with Disney didn't work out. So Netflix is the only thing that's on there that you can watch. So I'm like, well, what do I want to watch? I'll just watch Arrow. I didn't think about it. I should go back and just put Love, Death, and Robots season 2 on. That's perfect. I can watch 1 or 2 of those, and then I'm good. And then I get off the bike, and then tomorrow I can come back, watch another couple, and get through the whole season in a week. So I might start doing that.
Absolutely. Very cool. Hey, I can't remember. Did we talk about the new Superman trailer last week?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
so.
I don't think I've seen it.
If you go and see Minecraft...
you mentioned that there's a new trailer for it.
There was a new trailer.
Yeah.
It's online now, and it's basically an extra 3 minutes or so of footage. Now, in the original trailer, you see Superman crash into the Arctic, and he's bloodied, and he whistles, and Krypto. Now, CD just posted about it. In fact, I think he posted on the Discord. He posted about it earlier today.
Oh, I
posted
that one.
That's the recent one I saw. Yeah, and you see Krypto dragging him back, away.
Oh, I see. He did it just before the show started.
Yeah, there's a bunch of now the footage shows him, Krypto showing up, and he doesn't just go home. Krypto like fucking jumps on him and doesn't realize he's hurt really bad. He's doing the things that dogs do, like, hey, I'm excited to see you. I miss you, and let's play. And finally, he's able to convince after like a minute of him. Yeah, it's the doggy promo. It's fantastic because you see Krypto acting like a dog. You see him straight up like he is acting. He is a dog, and he by giving him Krypto his cape, he convinces Krypto to drag him back, not too far, thankfully, from the. To the Fortress of Solitude. The Fortress of Solitude rises up out of the ground, all crystalline and beautiful and really fucking cool. And then the door, in the shape of the S crest, without the S, it's just the diamond shape, opens up, and 4 androids come, and Krypto drags him in, and these 4 helper droids come walking over that all have capes on, weirdly enough, and pick him up. Well, see, in the comics, Superman had a bunch of helper androids that looked sort of like him. And back in the old days, they were androids that looked just like him, and he would use them when he needed decoys or whatever. If he needed to be Clark Kent and Superman in the same room, he'd use one of those robots or whatever. And then after a while, they looked kind of remotely like him. These are just the robots that, they're humanoid, but they don't look anything like him. Although Alan Tudyk does the voice of one of them that
Of
he
course.
walks up. He's like number 4, I think it is. And they pick him up and they're like scanning him and he's beat the fuck up. He's at 37 fractured bones and this and blah, blah, blah. And he's damage to his liver, damage to his kidneys, damage to. It's like, okay, we'll get you fixed up right away, Cal or Kal-El, and they put him in a chair and like, okay, that's 280 Saharas, and like then there's these big lenses go into place, tonk 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 tonk, and then they bathe him in super concentrated yellow sunlight, and he's like, he's burning him or whatever, it's cooking him. But people were praising this because it's like it shows even more, going in more into depth into the lore.
Give him sun cancer.
Yeah. Kryptonians can't get skin cancer, unfortunately, or sun cancer. You can't get it. They're just absorbing it all. Those, are those robots legal? Probably. Yeah, somebody's got to clean the Fortress of Solitude. He's got helpers,
He just runs through with his heat vision, just burns all the trash away.
Like he leaves a bunch of trash. He's Clark Kent. He's a good old boy. He's not going to leave a bunch of garbage all laying around. His mother taught him better than that. It is actually kind of funny. Yeah, it is actually kind of funny that somebody raised in Kansas doesn't have some sort of. I mean, Kansas. Kansas known
Midwest,
for having. Man. That's Midwest. I guess they don't really have an accent like. Plus, Clark would probably also train out any kind of dialect out of him, so he couldn't be traced back to that. People are like, he's from somewhere in the Midwest. But anyway, the trailer the footage looks even more just amazing. People are praising it. They're loving it. They're like, if I was on board before, I'm even more on board now. And even CD was like, I'm definitely on board. I'm still not doing Marvel, but I'm on board for that, and I appreciate that.
They didn't even put SPF 30 on him first.
So it does look pretty great. The other thing, they also released a trailer for the new Naked Gun movie.
I was hearing lots of people talk about that, and they're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Liam Neeson playing Frank Drebin Jr.
He has a specific set of skills.
It's a really funny it's a really funny trailer. You should check it out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Somebody posted it in the curling club Discord.
I saw one of the funniest parts was all these cops are basically. I actually
never watched the Naked Gun movies.
You've never seen the Naked Gun movies?
No, they weren't my thing.
Chris, well worth it. All 3 of them. Anyway, yes, Liam Neeson is playing the son of Leslie Nielsen's character. And it's one point, yeah, even CD is like, what? Well, O.J. Simpson played a character on the show in those movies too. He was Nordberg. There's another one of the cops, right? So in this one scene, a bunch of the cops are looking at pictures of police officers that, that were their fathers. That apparently they're all kneeling. They're all kneeling in
glue, CD.
They're all kneeling in front. They're all just kind of. Oh, Dad, I really miss you. Dad, gee, I really miss you. Dad, I really miss you. And then it comes to the picture of O.J. Simpson as Nordberg, and there's a young black guy. He just does a take at the camera and just goes. And then it cuts away. It's just fucking that I'm sold. Who knew Liam Neeson had comedic timing? I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking hilarious, Granted, Liam Neeson would show up in like little cameos, like he's got a cameo in Ted, I think it's Ted 2, and it's fucking hilarious. And he's basically just playing his character from the Taken movies. He's like, understand from what it says on the box that tricks are exclusively for kids, for children. And then Ted's like, yeah, it says, tricks are for kids, but I don't think that's enforced by anybody. I don't think that's, you can. So if I take this cereal back to my apartment, I won't be followed. He goes, no, I can pretty much. We don't have the budget for that. I won't forget what you did for me here today. And he just drops like a 20 or a 10 or something walks away. As I won't forget what you did for me here today. And then, well, I really wish you would. Just, I think it's in the first one actually when
I
he's still working at the
that's
grocery
not
store.
the first one.
Is it? Maybe it's the
No,
second
no,
one.
I have not seen the second one, and
Okay, it
yet,
must be in the
and
second one.
yeah.
So who knew Liam Neeson had comedic timing? But apparently he did. I mean, people are saying because Liam Neeson, he's like, I'm in my 70s. I don't want to do these action movies anymore. But apparently comedy, he's all about comedy. And I'm down.
Yep. So one of the other things that I want to get to before we get out of here, Netflix has announced that they are shooting season 4 and season 5 of The Witcher back to back,
Alrighty.
and that season 5 is going to be the end.
Probably a good idea.
And one of the things I didn't know, Lawrence Fishburne's joining the cast as
Pardon
a
me?
Lawrence Fishburne is joining the
Oh,
cast as a beloved character. They haven't said who. They just said he's joining as a beloved character. So I'm not sure who he's joining, who he's going to be. Yeah, I'm there with you, CD. I don't know. They say that this is going to this season, the season 4 and season 5 are going to encompass like 3 of the novels. I do
I don't
want to
know.
check out that animated series that you posted though, saying it was good. The Song of the Siren. Rich actually got on and said that they think they got the video game actor to do the voice for it. So,
That's cool.
oh, it's a
That's cool.
movie. Okay,
Yeah, it's a movie.
well, I'll check it out. But yeah, I saw that, and then was there something else? Renee and I finally started Wheel of Time season 3. Fuck, did it start off strong? Holy shit! Watch the first episode. Every episode, they've got 7 episodes out right now. Every episode is over 60 minutes long.
Wow.
Most
Well,
of them,
that makes
are
sense,
around
man.
70. It's like, I'm like, fuck, these are all like mini movies. And in the first 2 seasons, the episodes feel long. They feel like you're watching a movie. They feel like that length, even though they're only like maybe an hour long. This one, we watched it and we're like, that did not feel like it was 75 minutes long.
Well, television is just getting better and better all the time. I mean, case in point, The Pit. We got 2 more episodes of The Pit, and
Yeah.
it is getting amazing reviews. People are loving it. I mean, Noah Wiley, he was asked recently, he's like, "Did you ever think you would do another medical drama?" And he's like, "No, I never thought I would." And he goes, after doing, 15 years of ER, he was like, "I thought I was done," but apparently after the pandemic, and that's the thing, it's not just him. It's like several of the producers of ER, writers and producers, also were like, "We were done. We thought we were done." And he was like, there's stories to tell here because of the pandemic and because of what the heroes that worked in medicine did at that time. So I got to tell you, man, I am really looking forward to the last 2 episodes. I think it's
Oh, I
going
am
to be
too.
killer, and the way they
Because
ended the last.
they're end of shift now.
Yep.
And so now I think we're going to see them dealing with things
The
after the
fallout.
shift. Yep.
Yep. Yep. It's going to wrap things up, and stuff like that. Robbie's going to probably
then-
catch hell from yelling at his supervisor, at the
Well,
administrator.
Well, that and using untested blood and things like that. But my thing is, all right, so they're gonna wrap things up. Season 2. How much time will pass? That's going to be my thing, because they're not going to do the next day. That's not going to be what it is. It's going to be a year down the road, or
6 months,
or just 6 months, something like that.
Every 6 months.
They can't just keep doing the anniversary of his mentor's death. They can't do that again. So it's not going to be a full year. I don't think it's going to be.
It'll be 6 months. I'm gonna say 6 months. That's a good amount of time where some of their interns will have learned stuff. They'll develop things. That's the only drag about a show like this, is that now we're gonna jump in on this, and it's gonna be.
Well, gotta.
We're gonna have to play catch up, and the writers are gonna have to catch the audience up.
Yep. One of the big things they're gonna have to wrap up in the next 2 episodes is what's gonna happen with McKay.
With who?
McKay, the one that just got arrested at the end of the last one.
Yeah.
Because she killed her ankle bracelet.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because she's basically like, fuck this. I don't have time to deal with this. We're in the middle of a massive crisis. She's gonna
end up probably. She fucked her ankle monitor. I mean, she can go to her parole officer or her caseworker or whatever.
She's gonna wind up going to court and plead her case and say, look, we were treating people. This thing has been malfunctioning multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the middle of doing my job of saving people's lives from the mass shooting at Pitfest. I didn't have time to deal with it. Mm-hmm. If I dealt with it, people would die.
I mean, that's probably the only thing that'll keep her out of jail.
Yep.
Because you fuck with your ankle bracelet, your ankle monitor, that sends you directly to jail. So it depends, but
well,
we'll see.
As Renee put,
there's a lot of things
for that yourself. You actually buy your ankle monitor.
You do. Or rent it. Yeah. It's similar to like renting renting the your router here for your cable. There's that, and Ojipo watched the modern
mid-modern century or whatever.
Mid-century modern.
Mid-century modern. Yeah.
It's a design style.
Yeah. You'll have to let me know. Does it get better than the first episode, Ojipo? Because I'm curious about that. I've only watched the first episode so far, and I thought it was okay. It could be cute, but I wasn't sure about it.
All in all, I'm really, really excited to see that show wrap up, and I'm glad that they're getting another season, because I do think it's absolutely genius, and I think Noah Wiley's career is going to benefit from it. It's just, but yeah, there's a lot to wrap up, and it was similar to like that show 24. 24 was a similar kind of thing. Each episode was an hour in the show
Never watched 24,
in the day.
Though.
I didn't either, but
I wasn't really interested in it.
And he talks about it. He's like, you can't when you're filming this show, you can't get a haircut, you can't get tattoos, you got to, the whole thing. You got to watch your weight. You can't gain weight or lose weight. You got to stay where you're at. There's a lot of pressure for that. But I really think it's really fucking cool. So I'm excited. But yeah, it's good things, man. Hey, it is 10 o'clock, so we should probably wrap things up. Guys, thanks again for sticking around. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the 400 episodes, guys.
Thank you for sticking around for 400 episodes. Hey, Chris, here's the 400 more.
Here you go.
Yeah, we're still doing this 8 years from now. You remember? Hey, how was the weather in your part of town, boy? I tell you, it's dude,
we'll be sharing a mic at the old folks' home.
Yeah, we'll be wearing VR goggles, and
Renee and Stella will have put us both in homes by that point, and
we'll have co-hosts at that point too. What did you say?
The nurses.
He said,
the nurses will be there.
Nurses will be taking care of us. But in all seriousness, thanks for sticking around. For those of you guys who don't join us on the live shows, we really do appreciate the downloads and listening to the show on YouTube or on Spotify. Too. Yeah,
I actually I put the last episode. I started putting it back up on YouTube, so this one will be up there too.
Good. Happy 4,000.
Yeah, if I'm alive for 4,000, I'll be happy.
Yeah, we'll be drinking. We won't be drinking this anymore. We'll be drinking some sort of like protein drink or something. It's like I can't afford to. Hey, if my sugar's okay, then I can have a soda pop.
I drink a lot of protein stuff now, so I drink a lot of protein shakes with this diet I'm on, or with the medication.
Right.
So.
So, anyways, but
4,000 heads in a jar.
Yeah, 400 heads in jars. We really do appreciate the support, and like I said, continue to tell your friends about it. Listen to a couple of old Gen Xers, a couple of Goonies generation, talking about what's going on in the world, talking about what's going on in entertainment, and just kind of talking. and trying to be entertaining while we do it.
Yep.
So we'll be back next week at 8 o'clock every Tuesday night. And there will be a show, D&D, our D&D show on Friday at 7:30. So this channel, hopefully I'll be there.
Yeah. And actually your support, for those that subscribe and stuff, you will get to see, if you come out on Friday, you'll get to see what your support actually gets.
That's right.
Because I got some new stuff for the show for
some
Friday.
New tech.
Yep.
So, but yeah, again, it really means a lot.
So Renee figured it out. 69 more years until episode 4000. 69.
So we will be, let's see, 117, 120, 110.
I'd be 100.
I'd be 100.
See, 70 would be there. I'd be 123.
I'd be 120. Yeah.
123.
120, 123. Now, they did say that by the time you and I would be 100 years old, that the life expectancy of humans would probably be closer to like 120.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
In our lifetime, we could see 120.
That is still 50 years from now. So
yeah.
Who knows? But personally, if I make it to 100, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to make it to 100.
Hey, as long as mentally I'm there and I can take care of things, As
long as I'm not like shitting in a diaper and yeah.
Jinx.
Stay in shape. Ross at work keeps giving me shit about my diet, and he's like, "I see you eat shit all the time." It's like you see me eat lunch, and I eat for like convenience factors. I mean, I'm eating but I eat much better at home. And he's like, yeah, but at least 3 months out of the year, at least several days a week, we're having 2 meals here, and you're eating shit here too. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. He's like, you got to cut back. I want you to be around, man. And I'm like, I appreciate it. So I do have to watch my diet a bit more, so we'll see. All right, thanks again.
And remember, you can follow us on most of the social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show, and pretty much everywhere else. Just search for Drinking Nerds, and you'll find us. Although we don't post a lot on many of the things, I just don't have time to manage the.
We need a media manager. We need a social media manager.
Yeah, and Renee used to do it, but she's so busy now that she doesn't have time to do it either. So.
Yep. We need a social media manager. Somebody wants to take on that role for free.
Yeah. It's not a paying gig. We just brought back new versions of Russ.
We just brought back Direwolves. New versions of Russ and Chris aren't far behind. Yeah.
Yeah. We just need the altered carbon where you can just unslot and reslot into a new body.
Slot us into a body. Yeah. I'll do that. I'll live forever.
Yep. I got no problems with that. So science can find a way. Yep. Science.
We can find a way.
All right. Well, I think, thank you again. 400 episodes. It's amazing. So I think that's going to about do it, though.
That should do it.
So until next time.
Sláinte.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.